And hello, everyone. Welcome to another BSides Orlando pre-show. I'm your host here, Ean Meyer, president for BSides Orlando, and we have something great here for you. Now, we did a couple of these pre-shows at this point, and we've had a lot of good people on, and we want to keep that going. So what we're doing is we're bringing on our good friends, Tabatha DiDomenico and Tarah Wheeler, and we're going to get to them in just a moment. Before we go too far here, though, what I want to remind everyone is BSides Orlando tickets are on sale now. You can still get them. We still have some of the VIP tickets available. And if you get the VIP tickets, you get one of our Order of the Toothy Grin challenge coins and also a sticker pack that only the VIPs will get. This is a challenge coin that we're going to be giving out. So this is the only time you will be able to buy it. So if you're really into challenge coins, this is it. This is the only time you'll be able to buy it. After that, you have to earn it. And there'll be an opportunity for you to earn it today. So if you are one of those folks that want to get in and get the VIP coin, absolutely do that. Tara's got some things that also there's some ways that you'll be able to get some other stuff from this pre-show as well. The other thing we need to do is we need to thank our sponsors. Our sponsors make this happen. They are the people that go through and help us make all these things happen and make challenge coins happen and all that good stuff. So let's thank our sponsors real quick. Our sponsors for BSides Orlando, which for whatever reason are not loading up on my screen. Interesting. Anyway, because they're in backgrounds there. Forgive me. I need overlays. There we are. So our sponsors for this we've got our diamond sponsors, ReliaQuest, HP, Enterprise, AMD, our platinum sponsors, Sands, Fortress, Full Sail, Black Hills, iBoss, Hacker Bosses, Proofpoint, Hack5, our CTF sponsors, Research Innovations, and then, of course, our community sponsors as well, CyberSec Jobs, Hack UCF, No Starch Press, ISSA Central Florida, and ISC Squared Central Florida. So I think that's probably enough for the preamble and to do here. So I'm going to bring our guests into the stream and start introducing them. So first person I'd like to bring on to introduce to everyone is Tabatha DiDomenico. She is one of our BSides board members, and I'm not going to try and embarrass her for a second, but she has been such a driving force and so helpful in bringing so many fresh and great ideas to our program. So let me bring in Tabatha, and she can introduce herself and kind of what she does and what she's going to do here for us today. Hello, Tabatha.
Hi there.
How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Wonderful. So, yeah, I mean, you are kind of a serial volunteer, and you help with Diana Initiative. You were volunteering at Circle City Con. You're now, very much part of BSides Orlando. What are you here to share today, and what do you want people to walk away with?
So today we're going to just go through the basics of using Git and GitHub specifically to contribute to open projects, starting with Tarah's The Nerdlist. It's fairly straightforward and simple to do, so I'm excited to show everybody how to do it.
Awesome, great. So let's also then, I'll take you out here and let's bring in Tarah Wheeler. So hello, Tarah, how are you?
I am wonderful. It's a pleasure to be here with you today, Ian. How is it going? And hello, I miss you folks in Orlando.
We miss you too. So for those who don't know, Tarah is everywhere, but she is also an international security fellow at New America. I actually went through and I feel like every time I check your LinkedIn, you're doing more things, and I've wondered where you actually got the time turner from that you are able to do that. So I had to give you a Harry Potter reference. EFF advisor, Harvard Belfer fellow, you're a Fulbright scholar, and you created the Nerdlist, which we are talking about today. So why don't you tell us a bit about the Nerdlist and what it's about?
Of course. So I remember it was about 3 or 4 years ago. I was watching Sneakers again, I think, and I was realizing as I was doing some cracking and studying for some stuff that I think human beings tend to think in some pretty interesting and predictable ways. So one of the things I know that we do as nerds, as sysadmins, as people who have more access than usual, is normal people use the kind of standard ABCD 1, 2, 3, 4 passwords that we all know are the top 1,000 most used passwords. But I think those of us kind of in the nerd community would be more likely to choose kind of nerd passwords. So I started guessing at some passwords like "You shall not pass," that your Joshua, or Zion 0101, the classic passwords from from nerd culture and history, from movies, Hack the Planet. And it turns out after developing that into a GitHub project, which we launched in late 2019 at Wild West Hackin' Fest, that the Nerdlist, in fact, statistically is likely to find nerd passwords on the internet. And breaches, in data breaches that have come out over the last 10 years. We've seen so many people with passwords from Harry Potter, like Alohomora. And it's great. It's fun to guess. But the number one reason I think that we wanted that I started this project and why we've brought people into it, why Ian, why Charlotte Woodrow, who could be with us today, why people that are involved with this project care about it, is it's the easiest on-ramp to information security and to contributing to a community project. It's really intimidating, I think, to contribute to like scary projects like Metasploit. Like I'm terrified to submit a typo in a pull request to Metasploit, right? But it's not scary to say to yourself, hey, I watched Hackers or Legend or Willow, and to commit like classic passwords from nerd culture to the Nerdlist. Just a single line, a single word, a funny joke, that's it. And it's a quick and easy and fun way to get involved in the information security community to help us crack passwords. So that's the reason I wanted to do this and be part of it. I'm so glad to be here with you folks today. And yeah, thanks so much, Ian. It's a pleasure to be here as always.
Awesome. So yeah, I'm going to bring us all three in here for a moment because the last time we did this, and I didn't really explain, but I wanted to bring a little Halloween in because we're talking about the nerd list. We've got nerds here, and I'm trying to get as much use out of my onesie as possible at this point from Halloween. So with that said, other feedback we received beyond Ian wear a Kugurumi, which I don't think was feedback we actually got, but it was, hey, this was great. When Charlotte was on, we learned how to use password cracking, etc. But a bunch of people said to us, I don't really actually understand how to use Git. And we all kind of got together, and I reached out to Tabatha here and said, hey, wait a minute, why don't we do something just on using Git? So at this point, what we'll do is, if you're ready, Tabatha, why don't you walk us through kind of what you've worked on putting together, how you actually submit something into the nerd list.
Sure. So
and as Tabatha does that, just real quick, let me note, for those of you that didn't catch it, there are in fact prizes today for your very first commit to the nerd list or any information security project whatsoever. Either you get Scrabble stickers, which are awesome and wonderful, and you'll get the joke about sneakers in a bit, or if you've actually used the nerd list to crack something in public, this is a solid silver Scrabble tile from the classic sneakers joke about too many secrets. And we have, I think, 9 silver tiles left, solid silver. You can't get them anyplace else. This is your day for unique challenge coins. It's a precious metal, and this is your joy. Yeah.
Absolutely. You know what I heard? As soon as you said that you can't get, all I could hear was Serial going, can't get this in stores, man. Can't get this in stores.
We are coinless, man.
We are
no
coinless.
Coin.
So if you need a coin, we'll tie that right in. So if you go through, and we talked about these on our stream, we have our BSides Orlando Order of the Toothy Grin coins. So if you submit something to the nerd list today, or you submit a cracked password to the nerd list, we will get you a coin. I said you can earn these, so earn them today by doing something to better yourself in your career. So with that said, Tabatha, if you are ready, I can start sharing your screen and we'll get into this.
Yeah, sure. Let's go for it.
Absolutely.
So it's pretty straightforward, and I think there's a little bit of confusion. Oftentimes, I know I was confused initially, like, okay, so there's Git, and then there's GitHub and GitLab and all of these different things. So Git is basically just versioning control. So you're not renaming files like untitled-1, untitled-2, and you can work together with other people to make some sort of project. Doesn't have to be some fancy coding thing. And then GitHub is a platform that is, that we all can contribute to. It's online storage, and it's a great collaborative workflow that utilizes Git. And like I mentioned earlier, there's other platforms like GitLab and other versioning too. Enough of that. So this operates from the assumption that you have at least a GitHub account. And you really don't need much more beyond a GitHub account and a internet browser and an internet connection to submit a change to the nerd list. You don't have to go command line or anything fancy like that. So I've got the nerd list pulled up here on my screen. And the first thing you want to do is fork it, which sounds whatever. Okay, so you're going to fork it, and what that means is it's going to create a copy of that repo underneath your own account. So I click the fork button. Something should be happening. I've already forked it. All right, sorry. So I forked it. We're going to go over to the fork of the Nerdlist on my account, and you'll see that it no longer says Tarah Marie up there. It now says Tabatha D and the Nerdlist. So at this point, you can see that it looks pretty much identical to Tarah's original version of the Nerdlist. And if I want to look at this locally, I can do so by cloning it to my local hard drive. Kind of want to not do that yet. I kind of just want to make a change in the browser to get started with that, just sake of simplicity. So here we can see that the Nerdlist itself is this file, right? This is where everything is contained. So I'm going to click on that just to confirm. Look at all of these fantastic entries that have been put in here. Oh, probably should put a little disclaimer. There are some less than PG words in here.
Right. Some naughty words.
Some naughty words, yeah.
To be fair, they're valid words that have been found in admin accounts publicly. So we wanted to be honest on this one. The only thing that we do, and I reserve the right, as we all do, to banhammer anything that is inappropriate in terms of being non-inclusive, racism, sexism, anything like that. Profanity, we can add a little profanity.
Yeah, I've had cable before, so not a big deal. So at this point, usually on most repos, you're not going to have access to make changes directly. So you're going to have to fork it or clone it locally in order to manipulate the information at all. So since I'm on my own version of the Nerdlist, I can go in and make any changes that I want. And honestly, nobody's going to pay attention to what I'm doing here. So that fear of like, oh, I'm going to make I'm going to screw something up. I'm going to make a typo. I'm going to be so embarrassed. The entire community is going to shame me. I might as well just like stop now. Don't do that. Nobody cares.
And don't shame it either.
Yeah,
we don't fork shame here. Okay, we don't do that.
No fork shaming. So all I'm going to do.
Shame is sus. Okay.
So at this point, I'm going to edit this file. And this is on mine again. I'm going to click edit. Easy peasy. So now here at the bottom of it, and we could be, a stickler for alphabetical order, alpha order on this, but for just keeping it simple, I'm just going to add it right here at the end. And keeping with salty words, I'm going to enter frac. I'm going to enter frac from Battlestar Galactica.
Battlestar Galactica.
Yes. So the next thing that I should do here is commit my change. Like I've made my change, still on the browser, nothing fancy, right? Add word from BSG. That's my commit message. That lets other people know if they're reviewing my code, what was actually done, rather than I made a change. That's not helpful to anybody. So you want to make your commit messages something that you would understand what you were saying at least going forward, and hopefully other people will be able to look at it and go, oh, they added a word from Battlestar Galactica, not update change or made something happen. Like that doesn't help anybody. So now, because I'm working on my own fork, in my own repo, I'm going to commit directly to the master branch on this. You can create branches, which we can touch on later. Branches are cheap, make branches all day long. But for now, let's just commit directly to the master branch. So now my version of the Nerdlist has one new password that I've added that is not on Tarah's version of the Nerdlist. So how do I get my change onto her list? How do I make that official? Glad you asked. Let me scroll back up.
How do we make that official?
How do we make that official? I'm going to tell you.
Oh, good.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a pull request. That's a little button up here. That's this big green button right here. New pull request. So now here I can look and I can say, uh-oh. This was unexpected. Hang on. It's a catastrophe.
I got you if there's an issue. Don't worry.
Yeah. So we're going to merge my changes from Tabatha D's Nerdlist version into Tarah's Nerdlist, I'm going to create a pull request. I think that's fair enough. Add word from BSG. There's nothing else that's requested by the maintainers of this repo at this point to, give over rights or anything like that. Sometimes you'll see that as you're contributing. So we're just going to create the pull request.
So essentially, while it's doing that, I mean, my understanding has always been for it when you go through and you say pull, you're asking someone pull that code that I just wrote into your system, which to me, like when I was first trying to understand Git, I was like, oh no, I'm pushing it to them. It's like, no, you're pulling it in, So directionality.
Yeah, it is. And it looks like we've got some sort of conflict. And it looks like
it's all good.
Got it? Okay. So.
All right. Once the pull request is, you've committed the pull request, and whenever you'd like, I can show you what it looks like to merge that. Just in case, folks, this is actually a great teaching moment. Just in case you're worried that this means you've done something wrong, you haven't done anything wrong. It just means a lot of people are working on this and that there's a line change someplace. I'm going to show you. She crosses her fingers in the background right now, takes a sip of wine. Just how easy this is to fix, dear Christ. It's Git. Okay. So if you'd like me to show you. All right. I'm going to go ahead and share screen right now. And
all right.
There we go. We'll
I should see
hopefully this works. And share. Okay.
There you are.
Hopefully you're able now to, fabulous. Good. You can see the Nerdlist. Good. All right. So here we are. Here I'm going to go ahead and take a look up, and you see we've got some pull requests up here. There's an unverified flag down there, so ignore that. Pull request number 71. We're going to fix that eventually too. So we're going to go to Tabatha's pull request. As you can see, it was just open 1 minute ago. Everything's still going good over there, Ian? I can't see what's going on in the screen.
You're good. You're good.
Good. Awesome. Beautiful. All right, here we go. This branch has conflicts that must be resolved. All this means, of course, is that Tabatha has added a couple of words in that that down here. I'm just going to go ahead and fix right in here inside the commits that have previously been done. What I'm going to do is just delete this notice right here that that there's been a line change in here. That's all that I'm going to do. Should be pretty easy. Theoretically, mark is resolved. There we go. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and commit this merge. Heads up, this will commit to master. I understand. Should be okay. Cross your fingers, everybody. Checking for ability. Hallelujah. There we go. So now what I see is a merge pull request. I'm going to go ahead and comment. I want to see a fracking toaster next time. And I'm going to go ahead and comment and merge pull request. Add pull request, confirm merge. And there we go. Hopefully, let's see. There we go. Okay, so we're going to go back to code here. And we can see that just 30 seconds ago, we've committed a brand new Nerdlist pull request. And it's going to head down. You can see it at the very bottom. Where's my Nerdlist file? There we go. So we can scroll all the way down to the very bottom to see that there it is, right there. There's frac. It got added. It's beautiful. So that's what happens. And if you see that, message, there's a conflict. Don't worry. That's not your problem. That's my problem. And I love solving problems.
And to be fair, I don't think I had committed something last weekend. I don't think I pulled down the latest changes and was working from an outdated version of the Nerdlist on my forked version of the Nerdlist. So pretty straightforward stuff. And resolving merge conflicts is probably 10 to 15% of what happens on through using GitHub anyways. If you're collaborating with others or even with yourself, sometimes it's like, how did I make that happen? That's wild. So that's how to do it. I mean, it's easy enough to do, and you can apply the same, adding a password technique to contributing to any sort of open project, including documentation.
And I would definitely add, Tabatha, what's the thing that you get to do now that you are an author on the Nerdlist?
Yes, make sure that you add yourself as an author to the author file. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to my fork.
And this is everybody.
Yes.
Anybody who contributes to this, I need you to add yourself. We all need you to add yourself to the authors.txt file. And that it doesn't matter how small your contribution is, you're a contributor now. I'm
actually going to, if you give me a second here, I'm going to clone my version and work from the command line now just to show both sides of it.
Yeah, while you're doing that, go ahead and get yourself set up, because that's
Sure.
something that I think is really cool about this project is you don't have to have like a deep command line knowledge. And to be fair, you can do it from command line. A lot of people do Git from command line, but for this project, just to get familiar with the ebb and flow of how you put things in, you can do it all through the browser. You can say, hey, I watched this super nerdy movie this weekend, and they used this password on screen. Let's put it in there. And what you saw there, you go and say add this word in, and maybe you put in a note that says, this password used in super crazy nerdy movie from the 70s, at this minute or something like that. And they say this is the password, so let's put that in there. And that's the whole point of the Nerdlist, to say, what types of passwords are a bunch of nerds going to use, so you can get those DA accounts. So this is great.
I think for those of us that ever had their very first FTP account 25 years ago, I know Joshua was my password once upon a time. So if you watch war games, hackers, sneakers, these passwords live out there forever.
I'll share mine since we're doing that. So Wabe and a good friend knows this, because I accidentally put it in a script file. He's like, "That's your password." I'm like, "Oops." So it was in the first Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise, when they go and they pull out the phones and they're like, "I need a secured line." Okay, go secure. So it was go secure, and that was my thing for years and years. Yeah,
that's amazing. I saw some people. Oh, you got it.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I plugged it.
I love it. I've seen there's some variations that are used on the Nerdlist too, for those of you who are going to be doing things like actually cracking hashes with the Nerdlist, which is that you can use fuzzing rules on things like John the Ripper. You can use them in Hydra, anything like that. So you won't necessarily see swordfish, just SWORDFISH. You might see like a 0 and a 1 in it, or exclamation point. You'll get some fuzzing and leet speak rules in it. And that's a startlingly common password for people to use. Swordfish. I swear to God. There you go.
So at this point, I've gone ahead and I'm just going to retrace my steps real quick. I cloned my version of the Nerdlist onto my local files here, into my local directory, and moved into it. And so now I am sitting at the latest changes on this. One command I don't know, and this is maybe Tarah, you can help me out with it. How do I refresh? How do I match my fork to your list? Do we know?
That's going to be a git pull origin master, if I'm vaguely correct on this one. That's for a cloned repo. So I'm not sure if it's going to work perfectly for the fork, but you should be, if you've cloned it, then git pull origin master will pull the current version. Yeah.
But that one's
there you go.
Mine. Hang on.
This is the current version as of like minutes ago.
I'm just going to go with it, and we're going to deal with more commit merge conflicts if we've got them. All right, so I've got it locally now, and something like everybody's got that command line command that they just type over and over again. And for me, it's git status, because I'm like, what am I doing? Where am I at? What's going on? So git status is going to show you exactly what's going on, what's been added, what's been staged for changes, and kind of where you're working. So I know I touched on branches earlier. Branches are very helpful if you're making, doing kind of a bigger change and something that you don't necessarily want to muck around with, kind of your clean version of whatever you're working on. So for this, I'm going to be even more difficult and create a branch. Check out.
We could also too, Tabatha, we can also go through, I think it's a great idea to keep doing more of this conversation over time. And if we want to just edit authors.txt in the browser to demonstrate that for people, it might be something that's really helpful for just folks getting just started right now, because I know that I can barely keep track of Git branches myself.
Okay, sure.
But yeah, if you're able to, yeah.
We'll just do that then. Keep it simple.
And just scroll down to the bottom and add your name.
Oh, yeah, gotta fix that.
You're camel cased. Cool.
There we go.
All right, and committing changes. Very cool. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen over here.
I've got to make a pull request because I'm still on mine.
Yep. Cool. There we go. And now that pull request is up, and now you can watch me just accept it over here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen as well. And we should be over here.
You're on screen.
There's our two. Fabulous. We got two pull requests. There's Tabatha adding herself to authors.txt. And this looks beautiful. Welcome to the nerd list. And comment, that's me just saying nice things because I try to do that on the internet. There's not enough of that. Confirm merge. And pull request number 82 is in. And we take a look over at the code. And we've added Tabatha to authors 1 minute ago. And that's it.
Awesome. Very cool.
Beautiful. That's as easy. Yeah.
It is. So I heard, and I don't know if it was Tarah or Tabatha, you're both starting to say, there's other things that if you're new to it, like documentation and things like that. Can one of you talk to that? How people can participate even outside of the nerd list with what they've learned?
Sure. So beyond finding, there's tons of projects out there that need your help. A lot of times it's a single or one or two maintainers trying to keep a tool or a project going. And so adding things like documentation after you've used something for those that come behind you is a fantastic way to contribute to a project, even if you've got no coding experience. So say you've gone to a conference or something and found a tool that you love, go track it down on GitHub, see where the gaps are, what you needed to learn, and then make a document and submit a pull request. And more often than not, you'll find that the maintainers will be thrilled that you've even gone to that point to create that documentation for them. The other things you could do is look through the open issues that are listed for that GitHub repo. And if there's something that you've addressed or encountered before, submit a pull request that fixes it if you can. Otherwise, try to verify that issue that oh yeah, actually that does the same thing when I try to replicate it. And that gives the maintainers additional information to be able to fix it themselves in the future. And then help others troubleshoot their own problems that they're having if possible. A caveat to this is don't be that person. I don't want to dissuade you from participating in projects, but don't be that person that just changes things, tiny little things semantically, because as you've seen, there's a person on the other end that has to review that pull request. And it's unlikely that you're going to get merged if it's just, oh, I've changed it from a comma. I thought that we should be using Oxford commas here instead of not. That's not helping anyone.
I'll be honest with you.
Sure.
Yeah. If the Oxford comma is not there, then a pull request is definitely called for. But yeah, I will note when it comes to this, if it feels super aggressive to you to just go and change someone's code and submit a PR, what you can do also is create an issue. This is like commenting on the repo and saying, hey, I noticed this thing. How do you feel about it? Do you want me to? I'm happy to contribute something if you want me to. And it can be as small as, I would love to just expand a little bit of this documentation here. Do you feel that it's necessary? And then I will guarantee you that any package or repo maintainer is going to be thrilled that you want to participate. If their repo is public, it's because they want help, right? It's because they want assistance. If it feels aggressive to you to just tell somebody that they're wrong and that you're fixing their stuff, submit an issue and just ask about it first, and then they'll give you some encouragement. And if there's no response on it anyway, then you've learned that it's probably not a well-maintained package, and maybe spend your time elsewhere. But it's not weird or aggressive to submit a PR. And if it feels that way to you, submit an issue and just ask a couple of questions about it. And even though semantics they could be annoying and problematic sometimes, I'll say just submitting a typo fix can be that bridge that you need into being somebody who is a committer to the given repo. So it's okay to make small changes. Don't make petty changes for the sake of making changes. But if you see something that needs fixing, it doesn't matter how small, you can do it.
That's more what I was referring to, is making petty changes just for the sake of having boosting your commit history, because unfortunately that does happen.
That's an assholes on the internet problem. That's not a you problem.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what? There are assholes on the internet?
What?
And I'll say that there's some repos out there. There's some projects that have a list of good first issues. So if you can dig into that and take a look and see, oh, well, these are the ones that are the maintainers feel like this would be a good place for you to start to get familiarized with either the code base or the project itself. And that could be an opportunity to bigger and better things with that project.
Cool.
If I could make one last note about what happens when you commit, take a look, if you would, folks, at the solutions folder here inside Nerdlist. I can share if you want, but you can just take a look at it real quick. So yeah, just inside the solutions, you can see several folks here have committed a solution to the Nerdlist. Not just committed their first word, but submitted a proof that they use the Nerdlist to crack a password in the wild. There's a couple of rules. Make sure that you've notified the user, or that it's been years since that password leak has happened, if it's a public password leak. Submit the proof and have it reviewed by us. And once you do, you get me sending you a shiny silver coin. Silver bullion, precious metals. It's pretty fun.
Very cool. All right. Well, we are. This was very informative, and I think I love that it was just very fast. And it's like, hey, this is how you get into this. So both of you, thank you, Tabatha. Thank you, Tarah. Thank you, as well. If you, and I think we kind of threw this out here as well, just go and submit a pull request that gets accepted, and put a note in there that you were on the stream, so we know where it came from, and we will get you stickers, and we will get you a coin for doing that. So you got to get a pull request. It's got to be a password that goes in there and whatnot, and then you become an author. And if you're an author in there and you did it from the stream, coin, stickers. Again, both of you, thank you so much. I'll send you off. Thank you for taking your time and showing everyone, and then we'll wrap this stream up. So again, everyone, that was Tarah Wheeler and Tabatha DiDomenico talking to us about how to use Git and how to get involved and just be involved in these open source projects and have that be the first step that you take into that. I do also want to just, again, throw out a reminder. Remember, our tickets are on sale. It's coming up fast. I'm actually almost panicked. We're about 4 days away from our workshops and about 5 days away from our talks. At this point, which is terrifying for me to think about, but what we're there, and we've got an amazing, amazing event for all of you. So please get your tickets now. Come check it out. We've got interactive activities. We've got all kinds of things going on our Discord. Please join us. We would love to have you. So with that said, again, my name is Ean Meyer, and thank you for spending some time on a Sunday with all of us to learn and grow and get a little bit better. And we hope to see you at BSides Orlando this weekend. So again, thank you for your time and have a great weekend.